4 generations hence, the United States was immersed in a great civil war that tested the promise of our founding fathers. The bloodiest day of that conflict was September 17, 1862, in and around a Maryland creek called Antietam. Before the sun set on that historic day, over 25,000 Union and Confederate soldiers, mostly infantrymen, lost their lives in what President Lincoln later called the last full measure of devotion. After the turn of the century, the nations of the world found themselves engaged in the First World War. After being assigned to the 4th Infantry Division for only a year, members of the 47th Infantry Regiment found themselves taking part in the Great Battle of the Meuse-Argonne in 1918. The battle was the costliest conflict in American history, with 26,000 men killed and tens of thousands wounded. The battle involved 1.2 million American troops over 47 days. It ended on November 11th, what we now know as Armistice Day, and brought an end to World War I. Just a generation after the so-called war to end all wars, the world was entrenched in a conflict even more deadly. With Europe under Nazi control, the Allies launched the largest amphibious assault in history at Normandy and other beaches on June 6, 1944. The 47th landed at Utah Beach 5 days later as part of the Normandy invasion. Private First Class Carl Sheridan was awarded the Medal of Honor for his actions at Fredericksburg Castle. The liberation of Europe and the enemy's unconditional surrender would follow 5 months later. In the 1950s, American soldiers were again fighting alongside Allied brothers in arms, this time on the Korean Peninsula. Over rugged terrain and extreme temperatures, American and Korean soldiers fought side by side in what became known as the Forgotten War. In 1967, troops of the 47th were deployed to a remote land called Vietnam. The regiment developed new riverine warfare tactics that were pivotal in neutralizing enemy attacks during the infamous Tet Offensive and flatlined the second wave invasion attempt in Saigon. It was in Vietnam that the 47th Specialist George C. Lang and Private First Class James W. Faust earned the Medal of Honor. Beginning with the Allied coalition of Operation Desert Storm and continuing today, 2nd Battalion, 47th Infantry Regiment soldiers have fought and supported the freedom and liberty of our friends and allies in the Middle East. In January 2004, 10 drill sergeants from 2nd Battalion, 47th Infantry Regiment volunteered to deploy to Iraq and participate in a pilot program that trained and fought beside the Iraqi National Guard, the main security force protecting Iraq today. All members of the 2nd Battalion, 47th Infantry Regiment team saw combat and all received the Bronze Star Medal for their actions under fire. Today's soldiers are engaged in an epic battle to protect the freedoms their legendary predecessors earned for all Americans as they engage in the global war on terrorism. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give these soldiers a round of applause for such a great job representing our soldiers of the past. Ladies and gentlemen, the following demonstration contains smoke and loud noises. Please make any necessary precautions if you are sensitive to either. Ladies and gentlemen, to your